Welcome to another channel update. My name is Nilaus, and this is the opportunity for me to check in with you here in the community for my Twitch and my YouTube channel to just basically talk about what's going on and also elicit some feedback from you about what you like and don't like, what you want more of and less of, so that I can sort of adapt based on your interest and my interest, and we can make the channel exactly how we want it to be. The previous update was about while waiting for big updates to hit, and oh boy, are they hitting now. Lots of games that I've been looking forward to are hitting in May and June, and also just a little bit further out on the horizon. And that gives me a problem in terms of covering all the games that I would love to cover in the manner that I feel that they deserve. So I've actually had to do some detailed planning of all my stream schedules on my YouTube days, and just trying to do that several weeks in advance, which is not something I usually do. So this is why it's super important for you to provide feedback, so I know what's interesting and not interesting for you as well. Another really important thing about this update is that I have an opportunity to make some live interviews with some game developers for some companies that some games we've played recently, and that's a really new and unique opportunity. And I'd really like to hear your feedback and your questions for these game developers. Now, you can leave the comments below in the comment section, but honestly, YouTube comments are not the best way of communicating, because it's really hard to go back and find them and pass through them, while Discord is so much better. So I encourage you to jump on over to Discord, share your ideas for upcoming games that you would like to see, share your ideas about what you'd like to see more of, less of, and what you like and don't like, because I read everything there as well. And also just we created a new channel for these updates, these interviews, so you can leave your questions there, and then I can compile it into a list that we can then do while we do the interview. So that's my call to action, to jump on over to my Discord, a link in the description below, and just to participate in the community there. Let's start by talking about current games. Well, the first one that we have ongoing here on YouTube is the Factorio story missions. I'm really enjoying it, and so are you. I can see that the interest is waning a little bit from the earlier missions, which is a little bit of a shame, because the missions are standalone. So if you were interested in the first ones, you really should be interested in the later ones as well, particularly because the later ones are way more expansive and way more interesting. The next one coming up, mission number 7, is huge and seems really interesting. So I'm in the process of recording and editing that, and it'll be available shortly. Now, I should say, because there are so many other things going on with the new releases, I may skip a day here or there of the story missions because there is a new release and I want to make some coverage immediately. The story is continuing, and it'll continue, well, until Factorio expansion hits, or I get done with all the 10 missions. But there might be skipping a day or two once in a while to make room for new releases. The other Factorio content is on Twitch every Sunday. I'm doing my self-expanding base. It is a massive amount of fun and super interesting. It's very technical. It's very difficult. I can't believe that I am voluntarily doing extreme programming with me with the keyboard and 300 to 500 people looking over my shoulder and pointing and go like, no, you forgot something. And it's fun even. That sounds like a nightmare for anyone who's experienced with programming. But yeah, I'm having a blast with it, and I think that the result is also a testament to the power of sort of gathering the community to do it, because none of the ideas that are in my base are actually mine. They are all sort of an amalgamation of different ideas that I've sort of adapted and sort of built into my own base. I'm going to keep doing sort of updates on the progress here on YouTube, and those will be irregular, but they'll just be whenever I feel that there's a new and interesting story to tell about this. V-Rising is another game that just came out with a big update, Gloomrot, and I started playing again. I am playing it on a community server on Twitch. I am having an absolute blast with it, and I really want to play more because it's just so fun. Like, it's kind of like Valheim in the sense that you have some fighting, you have some base building, you have some grinding, and then in this case we also have some multiplayer things. So if you're a Patreon Templar, then you can join in on the server, and there are a few people here, and it's just a really nice amount, so we can go out, kill bosses together, and then we can go back and build our own base, or maybe even build a collective base. That's what our plans are for today. So that's something that I wanted to mention here, because if you're only following here on YouTube, you might not know that I'm playing Valheim, and I'm loving it. Sorry, not Valheim, V-Rising. But I can't make YouTube content. First of all, I don't have room in my schedule. Second of all, it's kind of difficult to do that. Instead, it could be like boss guides, but then I'd have to sort of rush to the new bosses, and I don't want that. I don't like that idea. So I don't think I can make YouTube content for V-Rising. but I definitely am making a lot of Twitch content, and I want you to come on over and be part of it, either as a viewer or as a participant on the server. We're going to make some changes so that it's easy to catch up on the server if you're starting from fresh. So that's definitely something that that I wanted to mention here, so that you can come on over, and if you really want it, we can make some content for it as well if there's something you feel is missing. I really want to play more of this game, but it's really suffering from the fact that I don't have a lot of time. Damn, it should have come out like a month ago. That would have been perfect. Darkest Dungeon 2 actually came out in a full release, and oh my god, it's such a good game. I've been playing it weekly on Twitch every Friday. Darkest Fridays have been kind of a tradition on my channel, and now it's in release, and I played a little bit more, and it's super fun. But I can still see that no matter whether it's a release or not, there's not really a lot of interest in the community. It's one of those things where I want to do it. I really enjoy it. There's a small subgroup in the community who enjoy the content I make in Darkest Dungeon, and we hang out on Fridays and have a blast with it and talk about things. And it's become a really cool tradition here on the channel. And well, if you haven't, then check it out on Twitch. But I've also recently, and you might have noticed, popping up in your recommended feed, some Darkest Dungeon 2 guides. There are 5 bosses, and then there are 4 region bosses. I have now released all the 5 guides, and I will release one more guide for the 4 region bosses, and then I won't do any more content on YouTube. I do this content because I want to. I enjoy making it. I feel I'm good at it. I want to give something to the community, not just you watching my channel for factory updates and stuff like that, but generally, sort of, I want to be someone who makes good guides for this kind of thing. I did it for Elden Ring, and I've done it for Dark Souls as well, and done it for Sekiro. I've done it for a lot of games that I just enjoy, even though it's not the right thing. This comment about Darkest Dungeon leads me nicely into the next topic of Patreon. Yes, I mentioned Patreon on every one of my channel updates, and I do that because it is the foundation of the channel, and the way that I can continue to run the channel in a very suboptimal way, according to how I should be doing it. So there are a lot of things on the about how to run my channel that I do wrong, according to how I should be doing things on YouTube. But I choose to do it wrong, and I am enabled to do it wrong because of you. So listen up and then see if this is something that resonates with you. Now, first of all, I don't chase trends. When a new update comes out to an existing game, I don't rush through it in order to get to the new area to do the first video on this. I don't do the top 10 things you don't know about something. I rarely do, at least. And number 7 will shock you. That kind of thing. I don't do those kind of things. I don't do YouTube shocked faces and false clickbaits and thumbnails. It's an unfortunate way that it has to be like this on YouTube, and I don't like it. So I don't really jump into that. If at all, I can avoid it. I don't do those ad integrations that are almost everywhere, like a word from our sponsor. You should buy this VPN service or something like that. I don't do that. I hate them, and you do as well. And I don't want to have them on my channel. So that's a lot of stuff that I leave on the table there. I get another thing is sponsorships. I only do sponsorships for games that I'm interested in. So sort of in context, I get about 5 requests per week about the new game that I want to do sponsored content for, and I choose to do about 5 per year. So you do the math on how much I leave on the table between the VPN ad integrations and random game sponsorships. But this is my choice for how I want to run my channel. It is also a necessity for me because I am very passionate about what I do. It is a hobby for me that I can live off of. So if I started having to sell you stuff that I wasn't passionate about and play games and be passionate about them because that pays the bills, that would suck, both for me and for you. So as long as I can, I want to keep doing it this way. And the only way that I can do this and don't have to chase trends is because of Patreon. Patreon is independent on external sponsorships and ad software, and independent of clickbait and views. It's about getting some people to join and watch the content and feel, yes, I like this. I like it so much that I actually want to put in my credit card and pay a little bit a month to support this channel. And I really appreciate it. So thank you very much for supporting it and allowing me to continue to run the channel the way that I want to run it. And I guess also you want to run it. And I know this is not for everyone, and it's definitely not meant for everyone. That's why I give everything else for free. I don't have stuff like this course is only available to patrons, or this is exclusive videos only for patrons. I want to make sure everything is available in terms of sort of blueprints and videos, but some people will be able to and want to support, and that's kind of how I want it. I hope that percentage will sort of be there. So if you're a patron, thank you very much. If you're not a patron, well, thank a patron around you, because they are the ones who can keep the channel running. And it's totally okay if you are not able to or don't want to. This is YouTube. It's all free and available, so that's totally fine. But thank you to the people who choose to go that extra mile and keep a roof over my head and food for the cats and the kids. So thank you. Moving on to the topic of interview with game developers before we look at more games that are upcoming. We just looked at the ones that are currently out, but then we'll also look at the ones a little further that are also already planned and the ones that are sort of on the horizon. But for random chance, I was approached by some developers about, hey, do you want to do an interview on stream or for a YouTube video? And I was like, nah, I don't know. But then two different people contact me at different sources, and I was like, maybe that could be a thing. So we'll try it, and if it's fun, if it works, if it's interesting, we can do more of it. I will maybe approach developers and ask if they want to come on for a live stream or something like that. But it's just a test now. I love doing tests with my channel, and this is one of those tests, and I want your feedback on what we should do. So the two games, it's for Tectonica. Tectonica is coming out with an early access soon. That's all we know about it, but it's soon, and I'm talking to them, and they're sort of they wanted to see if I was interested in doing this, and we can do it as hopefully a sneak peek on the early access version, and I'll talk to the developers, and we can then ask them questions. So if you have questions about Tectonica or the game development, how it's going to evolve, what kind of support they expect, what kind of updates, what kind of intentions, things you saw in the demo or in some of the released developer logs, then ask those questions, because now you have an opportunity to directly ask the developers, and preferably do that in the Discord channel that I have created for interviews, but also you can leave it below if you can't find your way to Discord. The second game is Icarus, that we played a lot on stream and make a little bit of content here on YouTube. And this is a game that is coming out with a new major update soon, and I'll be covering that when it hits. But it's also a game that is surprisingly fun, but also has some internal idiosyncrasies that are just kind of weird. And this is maybe a good opportunity if you're following the game, but there are some things that you just find weird or interesting, or want to sort of know the direction of the game, then that's a good opportunity to ask the developers. So again, go to Discord, go to the interview channel, and ask your questions there. Or if you can't figure that out, then post them below, and then I'll compile it into more of an interview format. Moving on to the upcoming games. Now, these are upcoming games that we know are hitting in the next couple of months. There will also be some that I sort of designate as on the horizon, and we'll look at those afterwards. First game to look at is Factorio Update 8. Now, I was a little bit on the fence about this, because if the main thing in Update 8 is an upgrade to the engine, then you basically go like, okay, well, I get all the bugs, but I don't get any features. That doesn't sound great. Also, they are refusing to fix the blueprint system, so I don't know. It seems a bit weird, but the power system and the logic stuff and the priority, that seems interesting enough, and maybe they will have a few new things as well. So I'm considering it. I would also gladly hear your feedback, and if I do, then it'll be some kind of Twitch playthrough as well as some YouTube content to pair it up with. So that's going to be the plan for Factorio Update 8. Again, it's one of those that will not push everything else aside, but it will be fitting in between other things depending on your interest and feedback, and my interest and, well, my feedback, I guess. Captain of Industry is hitting 1.0 on the 30th of May. That's a bit surprising that they announced the game so short. Like there's such a short lead time from their announcing it to the actual release date, and that stresses me out a bit, because I want to cover this game a lot, and it's a game that I guess anyone who's watching or interested in Captain Industry should be coming to this channel and to watch. So I'm gonna be I want to do something, and I was kind of afraid about update 1 would have enough new things to make it interesting, but man, that looks like a massive update and really interesting. So definitely expect a full new playthrough. I'm going to play it on Twitch, and I'm going to do these kind of tutorials, showcases, parallel play here on YouTube that we've done before. And I think both Captain of Industry works as really well for this. And I'm trying to make YouTube videos with a common theme, that this is now where we achieve this goal. And I think that works really well. So that's what you can expect here on YouTube and Twitch in terms of Captain of Industry. It is unfortunately not a game that has a wide appeal like Factorio or Factorio. It's kind of a subset of the factory genre, but I love it. It's fun. It's technical. It's interesting. So let's take another go at that. Another game that I didn't really see coming was Railway Empire 2. I played it when Railway Empire 1 came out, and it was a blast. And now a new one. And I even saw in one of the promotional videos, you can literally drive to my home. You can make rails to my home. So that's a little bit fun. So I really want to cover and play some Railway Empire 2. It's just one of those games that I'm looking at my schedule and I'm looking at how much I think it'll be interesting. And I can't really fit it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a Twitch first try, or Twitch let's try, and a YouTube first look. Then I'm going to gauge based on the performance and the interest, whether we're going to be scheduling more videos and more stuff. And then I'll sort of shuffle my schedule around. So we'll be doing that. And if you're interested, it's going to be on Thursday, the 25th of May. Is that correct? Yeah. Then join on Twitch on the day after on YouTube. So that's where you can express your interest in playing more of this, if that's what you want. There's also a new DLC coming for Riftbreaker called Into the Dark. I will definitely be trying that. But again, I think this is one of those games that I will try it, but it's going to be more of the same: new weapons, new biomes, new story. But I don't think I can fit it into a whole campaign on Twitch or YouTube. So that's again something I'm going to do a let's try. I'm going to do a first look, and then we'll see based on performance, how interest, whether this is something we want to do more of. I get asked a lot about the Diablo 4. It is not a game that is healthy for me. The excessive clicking is not good for my wrist. So for that reason alone, I don't want to play it. Also, it's extremely grindy and it doesn't fit with the community. So that's a hard pass for me in terms of Diablo and Path of Exile and the other clones as well. Don't want to play those games. No interest, and not good for my health. Lastly is the Icarus that we mentioned. Yes, it'll be coming out soonish, and we'll be doing some coverage mainly on Twitch, but let's see that. And remember, leave your comments in Discord about the upcoming interview for that. The last topic to cover is more on the horizon, the stuff that we know is coming, but we just don't know when it's coming. And the first one is, of course, Dyson Sphere Program, the Dark Fog. We don't know when it's coming, but I can guarantee you that it'll just clear everything out of the calendar on my channel, for YouTube, for Twitch, for everything. I'll cover it as much as possible. Shit, I just realized, what if it releases during my 1 week of vacation every year? It probably does. Anyway, I don't know when it's coming. I don't have any inside scoop. My take on it is probably summer, not fall. So, and they also have a tradition of announcing it, and then it's less than a month from the announcement to the actual release, and they haven't said anything in a while. So I think that the next announcement will be it releases in 2 to 3 weeks. So we'll keep an eye on it, and definitely will be covering when it hits. Another game is Desynced. It's a small indie game that came out of nowhere. We played the demo, and I would say that the community absolutely loved it. It is such a unique take on the logistics game, and they're making huge strides forward in preparation for early access. So that's definitely a game that I want to play more of, and I want to do everything I can to see that this little fun and interesting game gets a day in the sun. So that's something just so that you're aware, and if you hear news about it, then stay tuned. We're definitely going to play more of Desynced here on the channel. It's a bit of a similar story with Tectonica. It's also coming out soonish, and early access, and I have the dialogue already with the developers about doing the interview. So again, go to Discord, let me know the comments, and for questions for asking in the interview, and we'll be definitely covering that as well here on the channel in some way. YouTube, Twitch, depends on what makes the most sense, and how the game plays once we actually get our hands on it. Lastly, but certainly not least, is Factorio. Yes, it's on the horizon. We don't know anything. I don't know anything, at least. My expectation is that it's going to be late fall to winter, close to Christmas, I guess. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, but hey, I don't mind being surprised about that. So that means, of course, we'll be covering Factorio a hell of a lot when it comes out, but I'm not holding my breath. Then I would have been holding my breath for 3 years, so that's not really happening. So we have a lot of games to cover, as you can see, tons and tons of new games, and I'm going to be trying everything and gauging the feedback from you on what we should do and what would be interesting, and both on Twitch and on YouTube, and trying to figure out where things fit the best, because each game has a sort of a profile that fits best to one or the other formats. Thank you very much for watching, sticking me all the way to the end, and thank you particularly to the patron supporters who choose to support the channel and allow me to run the channel the way I want it. So thank you very much, everyone. I will see you in the next one. Until then, take care, and as always, stay effective.